Hello everyone, myself Megha Bhatter from DBS Advani Lamachor, and children, today we are going to study about nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen, we have already studied that nitrogen is present in the air 78%. And you know, nitrogen, it is present in all the living organisms in the form of protein, enzymes and nucleic acids like DNA and RNA. Okay? But you know children, no one, means neither animals nor plants, they cannot use this nitrogen directly. So now because we are also, means including human beings, all the animals, we are dependent on plants for nitrogen. Because nitrogen, it is first converted into nitrates, and this nitrate is absorbed by plants. Okay, so in nitrogen cycle, first step is nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation, it is done by three ways. There are three ways of nitrogen fixation. What are these? Let's study. See, first, atmospheric and industrial nitrogen fixation. See, atmospheric nitrogen fixation means during lightning, due to high temperature and pressure, atmospheric nitrogen, it is converted into oxides of nitrogen, and these oxides, they dissolve in water and they form nitric acid or nitrous acid, and these acids, they falls on the land with rain. Okay, and afterwards they are used by different life forms. And children, you know, second step is industrial nitrogen fixation. Means at high temperature, this atmospheric nitrogen, it is converted into salts of ammonium and urea. Urea, which we use as a fertilizer in farm. And third step is, third way in which this nitrogen is converted into nitrates, it is biological nitrogen fixation. Biological nitrogen fixation, it is done by bacteria. Okay, there are two types of bacteria. One is free living bacteria, which founds in the soil freely, which is azotobacter. And second type of bacteria are rhizobium. Rhizobium bacteria, which lives in the root nodules of legumes. Legumes like चना, राजमा और जो डाइकॉट प्लांट्स है, इनकी रूट्स में, इनकी रूट नोड्यूल्स में एक बैक्टीरिया रहता है, which is called rhizobium. So this rhizobium bacteria or azotobacter bacteria, this converts this atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates, NO3. और फिर ये nitrate जो है, these nitrates are absorbed by plants.
So children, what is nitrogen fixation? Nitrogen fixation is the conversion of inert elemental nitrogen gas into biologically usable form, that is nitrites and nitrates. And you know, now plants, they take up these nitrates and nitrites and convert them into amino acids. और amino acids जो हैं, ये protein बनाते हैं, because amino acids, they are used to make proteins. And when animals consume plant matter, they break down the plant's nitrogenous compounds and use them to form new animal proteins and other complex components. And once the animals or plants dies, other bacteria in the soil, they convert the various compounds of nitrogen back into the nitrates and nitrites. Okay, देखिए, जब animals or plants, they get die, so again some bacteria which are present in the soil, they convert the various nitrogenous compounds back into nitrates and nitrites. Now children, next step is ammonification. So what is ammonification? It involves the decomposition of proteins of dead plants and animals to ammonia. See, what is ammonification? Ammonification is a process which involves the decomposition of proteins of dead plants and animals. देखिए, जो dead plants और animals हैं, उनकी body में जो protein present है, उनका breakdown ammonia में. So this is called ammonification. And you know children, after an animal excretes urea or uric acid, or after an animal or plant dies, there are certain bacteria which carry out ammonification. And now third step of nitrogen cycle, which is nitrification. See, nitrification, it involves the oxidation of ammonia to nitrites and nitrates. देखिए, जो plants और animals के जो body में protein present था, जो nitrogenous compounds present थे, उनका breakdown ammonia में. And now this ammonia is converted into nitrites and nitrates. Okay, so there are two bacteria which convert this ammonia into nitrites and nitrates. First bacterium, it is Nitrosomonas bacterium, which converts this ammonia into nitrites. जो Nitrosomonas bacterium है ये ammonia को nitrites में convert करता है. And now second bacterium, which is Nitrobacter bacterium. Nitrobacter, which converts nitrites into nitrates. जो Nitrobacter bacterium है ये nitrites को nitrates में convert करता है. And these two bacteria are नाइट्रीफाइंग बैक्टीरिया. इनको बोलते हैं नाइट्रीफाइंग बैक्टीरिया, नाइट्रोसोमोनास एंड नाइट्रोबैक्टर. नाइट्रोसोमोनास जो कि अमोनिया को नाइट्राइट्स में कन्वर्ट करता है, और नाइट्रोबैक्टर बैक्टीरिया विच कन्वर्ट्स नाइट्राइट्स इनटू नाइट्रेट्स. वापस से देखिए, जो एनिमल्स की बॉडी में प्रोटीन प्रेजेंट था, जो नाइट्रोजनस कंपाउंड्स थे, उनका ब्रेकडाउन हुआ अमोनिया में, और फिर अमोनिया का ब्रेकडाउन हुआ नाइट्राइट्स और नाइट्रेट्स में. These are the soluble compounds of nitrogen. And again they are back into the soil, जो कि वापस से soil में आ गए हैं. Now last step of nitrogen cycle is denitrification. So what is denitrification? Denitrification involves reduction of nitrates into gaseous nitrogen. देखिए denitrification में जो nitrates हैं, अब ये nitrates वापस से gaseous nitrogen में convert होते हैं. ओके, और ये जो नाइट्रोजन गैस है विच एस्केप्स फ्रॉम सॉइल इनटू द एटमॉस्फेयर. इन डीनाइट्रिफिकेशन ऑल्सो देयर आर सम बैक्टीरियाज विच हेल्प इन दिस प्रोसेस. दे रिड्यूस नाइट्रेट्स बैक इनटू नाइट्रोजन और टू अमोनिया और टू सम अदर ऑक्साइड्स, एंड दीज बैक्टीरियाज आर स्यूडोमोनास बैक्टीरिया. So children, this is nitrogen cycle which involves 4 steps. And what are these 4 steps? First step is nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation, in which the inert elemental nitrogen gas is converted into biologically usable forms. And there are 3 ways of nitrogen fixation. First is atmospheric nitrogen fixation, which occurs during lightning. And second, industrial nitrogen fixation. And third is biological nitrogen fixation, which involves different bacteria which converts this atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates. And second step, it is ammonification. Ammonification, which involves the decomposition of proteins of dead plants and animals into ammonia. And third step, it is nitrification. Nitrification, which involves the oxidation of ammonia into nitrites and nitrates. And last step, it is denitrification. Denitrification, which involves reduction of nitrates into gaseous nitrogen.